You have 3 doors. Behind 2 of the doors are goats, you don't want a goat, and behind 1 of the doors is a car, you do want the car. And so the contestant comes on and they're asked to guess a door. So they guess one, let's say they guess door C. And the host then says, okay, let's take away 1 of the doors. And I'm telling you now, you're left with 1 door with a car behind it and 1 with a goat behind it. Do you want to stick with your original choice, door C, or do you want to change to the other door?
Hi, I'm Peter Zeidman. I'm at Birmingham University reading for a Masters in Natural Computation, which is basically artificial intelligence. I heard about FameLab after an email from my university. Well, I really like public speaking and communication and that kind of thing, but I've never had an opportunity in the past to combine that with the science that I do. And so FameLab was really the perfect opportunity to get that, to do that and to explore that.
What drives you to want to do this rather than some other career?
I have a very strong view that British science should be at the forefront. I mean, having been in university for 4 years and just loving the principle of it, not just the actual doing it, but just the principle of academia and academics, researching something for the sake of that field and furthering our knowledge of that field.
There's a lot of misinformation put out about science, which is really dangerous. When people see flash headlines, they might think that science is this great evil that does terrible things and creates mutants and this kind of thing. And I think there's a certain responsibility for scientists to show that that's really not the case, that science is pushing back boundaries, making huge progress.
It's the nightmare situation. You've got an exam the next day, but no chance of learning everything in time. The solution may come from a new type of drug known as smart drugs. Smart drugs work by affecting the way that brain cells communicate with one another. The technical revolutions sweeping through Africa and the Indian subcontinent mean that very soon these regions will be leading the West in terms of technical development. From new solar technology for purifying water to new mobile phone technology that will allow small farmers to sell their products abroad.
Well, I'm really interested in how using, for example, computers and machines, we can understand more about ourselves, understand nature, understand how our brains work. And I think those kinds of issues are really interesting and could really get people interested in science, because ultimately the biggest questions and some of the most fun questions are, what are we about? And that's the kind of thing I'd like to try and explain.
The ultimate showdown. The showdown between man and machine. When Garry Kasparov in the red corner, the greatest chess player of all time, was pitted against Deep Blue, the greatest chess computer of all time. It could calculate millions of chess moves in a second. It knew not only every game it had played, but every game that Kasparov had ever played. The match was set and it began. And eventually the machine won. Under some doubt over whether there was cheating, but that's another matter. The point is that even though it beat him, was it more intelligent?